Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, June 4th, 2020. I'm Keith Tebow. This week, locals join in at demonstrations denouncing the murder of George Floyd. We have the latest. At one of those local events this week, this photo of a police officer and a participant at the rally sparked feelings of healing. We speak with both men in that photo. Governor Baker is set to begin Phase 2 of the reopening of Massachusetts from COVID-19, and we speak with one local business owner who's set to get back to work. And June is Pride Month. We speak with a local organization interested in protecting the health and welfare of youth in the LGBTQ+ community. All of that is coming up. A week and a half ago, George Floyd was killed while in police care following his arrest in Minneapolis. Since then, hundreds of protests have taken place across the United States calling for justice and equal treatment by police for those in the Black community. Rallies have also been held here in Fall River, including one today, and another is being planned for a later date. During our weekly conversation with Mayor Paul Coogan today, the mayor was direct in his reaction to Floyd's death and how the city has responded in ensuring all in Fall River are protected and treated with respect.
What I saw on that tape was a criminal act that had nothing to do with any kind of police work I ever heard about. Anybody that held their leg on someone for 9 minutes like that, that's just good old murder to me. And I hope the guy gets the full sweep of justice. That's no way to treat people. And if I saw that in Fall River, I can assure you we would do everything we could to remove that person from our employ and make sure that the district attorney did everything he could to remove him from society. I have total confidence in the Fall River Police Department. It's funny you bring that up, but this morning I was driving by Heritage Park at about 7 o'clock to see what it looked like for today's event, and who was in the parking lot at the boathouse. Our chief of police, Chief Cardoza, he and I both said, "You're thinking the same thing I am?" I said, "Absolutely. Let's see what this looks like." And we talked a little bit. And, they obviously want to work with people that are putting on these kind of events.
At a peaceful event held this past Sunday at Government Center, this photo was taken. It's one of the participants, Kendrick Dixon, and Fall River Police Officer Edmund Damaris shaking hands at the conclusion of the rally. It sent a powerful message that during these times of strife, dialogue and understanding is needed for communities to heal. Now, we brought Kendrick and Officer Damaris together on Tuesday to share their thoughts of the Floyd murder, as well as what was said when that photo was taken. Kendrick was emotional while he spoke during the demonstration and felt that Floyd's death was another in a string of oppressions within the Black community.
I thought to myself, well, it's nothing new. It's been happening, and then I was disgusted by the video, and I think what's going on right now is the straw that broke the camel's back. So I feel like now there needs to really be justice, and it really needs to get done, because no more. Especially African Americans can't take this no more. It's been 400 years. How many times do you want to get slapped in the face? Somebody slaps you in the face, you're gonna slap him back, right? All the African American people want in this world is just simple human rights. That's all we ask. We're not asking for millions of dollars. We're not asking for anything else. We just want human rights, simple human rights. That's all. We want to be treated like people. You cut me open, you cut a racist person open, guess what? We bleed the same way. There's no difference, okay? So we want to be treated how you want to be treated, because you don't like if you got treated how we get treated. So that's what we want, simple human rights. That's all we ask.
Kendrick also said he feels the actions of police in some communities are not necessarily happening here in Fall River.
I've been treated pretty fairly. I grew up here, okay, obviously. But there's been times where I've walked in the neighborhoods and I've had a cop pull me over, saying, "Oh, just checking up, somebody called," and blah, 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 like things like that, like I described Sunday. But other than that, I can't really say that I've been mistreated. But I've seen other people be mistreated and been discriminated against, okay? Just because it hasn't happened to me as much, it's still going on in the community. It still goes on all over the world. So just because it hasn't happened to me doesn't mean it doesn't happen, as you can see. So overall, my 24 years of living here, it's been good. I can count my hand maybe you have some questions about how the situation could have went better. But I can't really say it's been, traumatic to live in Fall River and have these officers. Because to be honest, most of the Fall River police officers have been great in their job, and so I can't complain.
Officer Damaris says he's disappointed in his police brethren involved in the incident in Minneapolis, all of whom have now been charged with Floyd's murder. And it's difficult not to take to heart the feelings of those protesting.
As a police officer, I've worked in Fall River for 13 years, born and raised here. I try to treat every individual fairly as if I would want to be treated. So it's difficult for me to be looked at and be thought of as a racist or somebody that's, like I was called the other day, they referred to me as an oppressor. That's hurtful, and it's difficult for me to take that because as an individual wearing this uniform, I'm not that individual. I'm not that person. We continue to step forward. We don't we don't really take it personal. We understand that there's a lot of emotion behind it, but we try to act. Everything we do is action. That's what's going to show our community what we're about, and that's my purpose for being there and listening to the messages. It was my action to show them that I'm interested and I want to hear what they have to say.
Officer Damaris was on traffic patrol at Government Center this past Sunday, and instead of using his authority as a show of force, he used his presence as a way to gain a greater understanding of those he serves.
Our main goal is to make sure they're safe, everyone's safe. We understand and we want them to express themselves. We want them to show the community what their message is. And our goal on that day in particular and any other days to make sure they're safe, they're protected, make sure if they want to get their message out, that they can do so in a orderly, safe manner. On that day, we were there basically just for traffic control to make sure that they got up through the roadways safe, that they weren't struck by vehicles. Because as we know, we can see it across the country. There are demonstrators and protesters out. Not everyone supports their actions. We see motor vehicles driving into crowds. That's dangerous. So our action on those days and going forward is to protect the people that want to get the message out. So there was no preconceived notions on that day. It was just serving the community. Anyone who showed up from out of our community, from our community, to send their message, that's what we were doing. We were serving them.
At the conclusion of the rally, Officer Damaris made a point to meet with many of those who spoke, including Kendrick.
The delivery of the message that they were giving, not only as an individual but as a police officer, the message that Kendrick had delivered, as I just said moments ago, perception is everything. To a lot of people, perception is reality. It may not be the reality, but it's their reality. So with Kendrick's story of walking down the street and not being able to wear a hood, it kind of opened my eyes a bit to being a police officer and getting that call from a concerned citizen of a suspicious male or something happening. I have to put myself in his shoes. And that's kind of what he did in that moment when he explained that story of how he might have felt. I don't know what his experiences were growing up through life. I don't know. Just as Kendrick may not know my experiences as a police officer, the different people I've encountered. So I thought it was very important, the way he delivered his message. It was somewhat impactful to me as a police officer. If I do get that type of call and I see Kendrick walking down the street wearing a hood, how I might encounter him, how I might have that discussion with him. May I explain a little bit more to him why I'm there, rather than just asking, what are you doing, where are you coming from, where are you going, the typical police questions that you would hear. I might step out and explain to him a little bit more so his perception becomes clear. My intent was to motivate him to continue to deliver his message because, like I said, it was very emotional and it was clear. It was delivered without derogatory statements, without curse words, and it was impactful. So what I said to him was I appreciated his statement. Out of all the statements that were made on that day, his made an impact on me as a police officer. Listening to it, and I appreciated his message, and I wanted to make that clear to him.
Kendrick, how did you take that interaction?
Appreciate it. I actually made my day. The whole day, that made my day. The fact that he came up to me, not that he said that my speech impacted him the most out of all of them, just the fact that he took a time when he didn't have to, because he had a whole bunch of business to do. He came up to me and he made me feel good and he told me how he felt about it. Because, sometimes cops don't do that. They don't really go up to a civilian, protest or not, and say, you touched me some type of way. Sometimes it's the other way around. Civilian go to a cop, I want to be like you, I go blah, blah, blah. So he came up to me and that made my day, and I appreciate that, and I still do to this day.
Both men know that their interaction alone will not solve the problem of racism in Fall River or in our country. But they agree that there needs to be more dialogue between officers and those they serve and protect.
Something like this, it's needed. Okay, so people can feel more safe, feel more comfortable. Cops can feel more safe, more comfortable, because I don't know how it feels to be in his shoes. I don't. And I understand, though, from like what you see around the world, that his job is dangerous. And I respect cops. I understand that every day he wakes up, he's not sure if he's gonna make it back home. He's not. It's not guaranteed. So I understand where he comes from. I understand where cops come from, okay? But just like there's some cops, I need to understand where we come from. So that's why I think, like I said, it's important, especially in the city, Fall River, Massachusetts, that we come together and we get connected and we get closer.
Our department is very proactive with the community. We do a lot. We try to be very culturally diverse, because Fall River is very diverse. When we grew up here in the schools, we grew up with that diversity. So when we have a residency in this police department, so they hire people within the city, which is very important. It's ownership into this community. So I do think that approaching people, having conversations with them, which I do. I'm assigned to a particular area of the city. I make it a point to step out, talk to business owners, talk to people, get to know people in my neighborhood. They wave, they say hi, I know their children. That's an important factor, being a police officer. It's a factor of trust. It gets people to be more open with you, whether it's a child in need or a person that needs help. Maybe they need help with food, shelter, abuse. You need to be approachable. And in order to be approachable, you need to approach people.
We'll be back right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Control Systems Technician. Cushman Wakefield Incorporated, located at 570 Robeson Street, has an immediate need for a full-time control systems technician to focus on equipment troubleshooting and maintaining material handling equipment such as conveyors, cameras, scales, and control cabinets. Job number 136-13997. Convenience Store Clerk. Reds, located at 1500 Brayton Avenue, has an immediate need for a part-time convenience store clerk to provide assistance to customers and handle various duties such as operating the cash register and stocking shelves. Job number 136-15154. Parking Detail Security Officer. Pal American Security has an immediate need for a full-time parking detail security officer to maintain the security and safety of the parking structure, patrol the facility, ensure the safety and security of employees and visitors in the Fall River area. Job number 136-13160. Amazon, located at 1180 Innovation Way, has an immediate need for these full and part-time positions. Warehouse Team Member, job number 136-14201. Interim Staffing Ambassador, job number 136-11657. Innovative Defense Technologies, located at 10 North Main Street, also has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Software Engineer, job number 136-08519. Associate Software Engineer, job number 136-08518. For more information on these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Switching gears now to the latest with COVID-19, Governor Charlie Baker this week announced that the state will move into Phase 2 of reopening beginning on Monday. The governor plans to provide details on what that reopening will look like on Saturday.
Today we're releasing guidance for retail stores. It will also be available at mass.gov/reopening. Reopening certain businesses also requires our state to consider how to ramp up other critical services to support our workers and their families. Today, our administration will also release guidance for childcare, recreational summer camps, and youth programs. These programs can reopen in Phase 2 after submitting specific plans to EEC to ensure health and safety parameters for screenings and sanitization. These requirements also include safety protocols around transportation and food safety procedures. Recreational camps can operate with activity restrictions and limited openings for groups that are smaller than 12, which each camp allowed multiple groups of 12 campers. The full details for childcare and camps are available at mass.gov reopening.
Mayor Coogan says he awaits the details of the governor's reopening plans for businesses. He also announced that soon local government buildings will be open on a limited basis beginning on Monday.
Well, we're working right now with some of our local restaurant owners to find the best way to accommodate outdoor dining so that we can get some people back into our restaurants. I met with our building inspector, Glenn Hathaway, talked to legal counsel, and we're going to have an ordinance being brought forward from the city council, and we'll go from there. We want to help them. I'm just right now, it's up on my computer. I'm looking at some of the other regulations related to outdoor sports. I'm hoping we can get some of those things going too. I think we have to get things going for the kids in the city, and we have to get some events for the entire community. So we'll keep plugging along and see what we can fit into their phase 2 regulations. The libraries are open right now, I believe, for book pickup. They're not in there yet, though. But on Monday, call Government Center, make an appointment with whatever department you want. We're going to do by appointment only starting Monday and see how that rolls out. We want to try to keep a cap on the number of people in the building. So you just call up if you want to get a marriage certificate or you want to get a building permit. You make an appointment, and then you'll be welcomed in at the front door. There'll be a greeter there. She will call the department you're going to, and off you go. But we just don't want to have a bunch of people all over the building. We just want people to know, Keith Tebow's coming up to get a building permit. Go ahead, Keith. We'll talk to you later. But we'll be open starting Monday by appointment only.
Mayor Coogan also told us today that all senior centers will remain closed for the time being. As we all wait the details of the governor's plans for Phase 2, more local businesses are preparing to get back to work. Jill Oliveira runs Trader Jan's Archery Pro Shop on Plymouth Avenue. She opened on Monday and has worked on making sure her space meets the demands for safety and limiting the possible exposure to COVID-19.
We have gone through the shop as far as we've added 2 hand sanitizer stations for all the convenience for us here, as well as our customers. I've also gone down into the range and I have marked off 6-foot separations between all the archers in the range because wearing a face covering while you're trying to shoot your bow kind of hinders your ankle point a little bit. So face coverings are, I tried to make it so that you wouldn't have to wear them down in the range. Like I said, because the ankle point's important while you're shooting.
Oliveira says she's unsure how her family-owned business will fare once customers return.
We have been closed since March 24th, and we were just officially allowed to be back open yesterday, as a matter of fact, June 1st, to be open to the public. So I really am not sure what I'm going to see for customers at this point, only because I'm kind of going into my slow season to start with, the summertime. But I'm hoping people start to venture out, maybe getting a little bored in some of the activities they were doing at home and want to get back to doing some archery, friends and family. And I'm just hoping for everybody to kind of come back, I guess. We have been around for 30 years. But even having all those years behind us as the family business, being completely shut down for 3.5 months definitely takes a toll on me as running the family business, as well as my mother trying to also help me figure out how to navigate to get the customers back in the store so we can keep the family business going.
June is Pride Month, an opportunity for the LGBTQ plus community to celebrate diversity and bring awareness. FR Pride is a young local organization that looks out for the health and well-being of the LGBTQ plus youth on the South Coast. Co-founder attorney Karina Valencia says healthcare is one of the biggest obstacles facing LGBTQ plus youth.
There's not a lot of available culturally competent care for LGBTQ youth. And by culturally competent, we just mean, we're a subset of the greater population, and LGBTQ youth have really specific experiences that differ from what triggers their mental health stressors than, heterosexual identified kids. For example, family rejection is one of the primary reasons that such a large population of LGBTQ youth are homeless. Over 50% of almost 50% of the homeless youth in America are LGBTQI identified. And that goes directly to family rejection, right? So that's an experience that's unique to this population that will make them reluctant to engage with a medical health professional who presents as not recognizing or understanding, where I'm coming from as a homeless youth.
FR Pride had originally planned for a Pride Ride event through the streets of Fall River for this Saturday. But with the community focus on the reaction to the George Floyd murder, co-founder Nikita Santiago felt it best to cancel the event and rally behind a more urgent cause.
Coming from a population that struggles with our own barriers, we felt that it was imperative to open the platform and leave that platform for those who have to have their voices heard right now. It is important that these conversations, as difficult as they may be, I think it's important as an organization that we support that initiative and create a space for them to let their voices be heard.
Yeah, as we're both Latinx women, we're both lesbians, we both have different experiences ourselves with a variety of discrimination. As a primer, I should say just for myself, I am very obviously white, right? And so even though I'm Latinx, I'm also Portuguese. And even though I'm a first generation immigrant, and that comes with its own burdens, microaggressions, et cetera, it's very different than what Black Americans face in this country every day. And I think that it gives me personally, not just my skin color, but also the career path that I have gives me a degree of privilege where my voice is heard a lot. And so, as Nikita said, if we can use our platform to open up that space and help bring awareness, great. But sometimes if what's right is to use our platform to actually take a step back and allow people whose voices are not often heard to be heard, then we thought that was the best thing to do.
FR Pride is still scheduled to hold its second annual Drag Queen Story Hour sometime later this month. We'll have more FRC Media news right after this.
Thank you for considering a homeless pet today. I hope you enjoy what you're about to see, and as always, please feel free to contact the shelter before coming down to make sure that the pets you're viewing are still available for adoption. We can be reached at 508-677-9154.
Hi, today we have April here. She's 6 years old. You can tell she's all black. She is a bigger girl. It's a little hard to tell because I'm holding her right now. She's being a little bit antsy because she is a shyer girl. She just moved into this communal room recently. We're getting her used to everybody here while she's here in this cage. So she is used to being with other cats. In fact, she could adjust to a new home even better with other cats in the home. She might be a little bit too spooked with dogs. Maybe calmer dogs. Dogs about the same size as her would do okay. She's a very sweet girl. She's just a little bit shy. She does love human affection. She's just a little bit, out of her element. So if you'd like to meet April, you can come down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts at Forever Paws Animal Shelter.
Today we have Gregor. Gregor is a 1-year-old pit bull terrier. Gregor is a feisty little guy. He would benefit greatly from training. He's a heavy puller on the leash and he likes to play with it. He does love his toys. Good boy, go get it. As you can see, he can sit when asked. Because of Gregor's energy level, we are saying that he not go to a home with children, just to be safe. We would like him to go with an experienced owner. So come on down to Forever Paws Animal Shelter at 300 Linwood Street and say hi.
Our Dinner Time With series continues on Friday at 6 p.m. with a performance by Bad Penny. Check them out on Channel 95 as well as our Facebook page Friday at 6 p.m. That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Again, please visit our website, frmedia.org, for the latest coverage of COVID-19, as well as other news and notes on our Channel 95 program schedule. This program airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. Now, a little over a month ago, we created a Facebook group called Masks of Fall River. We wanted Fall River residents to show off their creativity and their support in stopping the spread of COVID-19. We leave you today with a video montage by Steve Rice of some of our residents proudly wearing their masks. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Thursday.